Welcome in, everyone. If you love and care about freedom, if you love and care about Lane, you're going to be real angry. You're going to be real angry with this live stream. I know that I'm angry. And I'm angry for a whole lot of reasons, right? But what I'm most upset about is the lies. Most upset with the lies. This is linked in the description. This is what an anti-freedom, oath-violating judge looks like. We're going to need to count the lies again. This matter is before the court on the defendant's motion to dismiss the indictment pursuant to ARS 12-751, commonly referred to as Arizona's Anti-SLAPP Statute. Section 12-751 applies to criminal prosecution ARS 12-71J1A2. The court must dismiss or quash the indictment if the defendant shows the state's prosecution of the defendant was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right. ARS 12-751B. But the court cannot dismiss or quash the indictment if the state shows the prosecution is justified by clearly established law and that the state did not act in an order to deter, prevent, or retaliate against defendant's exercise of his constitutional rights. To support his motion, the defendant may submit evidence based on the record, a sworn affidavit, or other evidence. If based on this evidence, the court finds that the defendant has established prima facie proof that the legal action was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right. Then the court can order the state to show the prosecution is justified by clearly established law and that the state did not act in order to deter, prevent, or retaliate against the defendant's exercise of his constitutional rights. ARS 12-751B1. The state can meet its burden by establishing A. The person who initiated and conducted an investigation that resulted in the legal action that made the decision to pursue legal action was unaware of the movement's lawful exercise of constitutional rights. We're going to go back through it, but that's a fucking lie. Rocket. It's a lie that they're going to assert that the officer didn't know this. B. The state actor has a consistent practice of pursuing similar legal actions against similarly situated persons who did not lawfully exercise constitutional rights, or by producing any other evidence that the court finds sufficient. ARS 12-751B1. If the defendant cannot meet his initial burden of establishing prima facie proof that the legal action was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right, the court may deny the motion without requiring the state to respond. Let's read that paragraph again. If the defendant cannot meet his initial burden of establishing prima facie proof that the legal action was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right, the court can deny the motion without requiring the state to respond. Does anybody believe? Why is he in jail, right? He's in jail, so he can't post on his YouTube, right? That's why they want him in. That's why his bond was just revoked, because his speech. I'm wondering, has there ever been anything other than speech? I mean, I'm only aware of some voicemails that he sent. Definitionally speech. Was there a threat? Did he ever threaten? Let's get back to this. If the defendant meets his initial burden and the state is ordered to respond, the court can decide the motion based on the pleading, supporting, and opposing affidavits, or it can hold an evidentiary hearing, ARS 12-751B and C. Background facts. In this case, the indictment charges the defendant with 7 felonies and 7 misdemeanors. The charges cover a time period from September 12th to February 22nd and allege violations Arizona's criminal harassment and stalking statutes under Chapter 29 of the Criminal Code, Title 13. Defendant has not provided the court with evidence based on the record, a sworn affidavit, or other evidence to support his motion. Rather, his motion consists of unsworn statements as he stated in the motion. Notwithstanding, the court will proceed to address the issues raised in his motion. The defendant claims to be an investigative journalist for Freedom Productions, LLC, who covers local stories related to public employees of Pima County. He further claims that he has been investigating and covering matters concerning the local court system in Pima County as well as the county attorney. Defendant also claims his reporting has focused on the relationship between the University of Arizona Law School and the local courts and prosecutor's office. Defendant has not submitted any evidence to support these claims. Defendant further claims he maintains a YouTube channel with 15,000 subscribers. Defendant claims he became interested in investigating an attorney employed by the City of Tucson's prosecutor's office. Defendant claims that the City of Tucson attorney was involved in prosecuting him for trespassing due to his disruptive conduct at a Tucson City Council meeting. Again, defendant has not supplied the court with any evidence of this. The court cannot take judicial notice of these proceedings because it does not have access to the court files for the matters prosecuted in city court. The defendant called I assume that's supposed to be the prosecutor's wife, Shannon Walker, who works at the University of Arizona Law School on September 12th, 2024, and left a message on her voicemail that he wanted her to help him with a special project. She was the director of special projects, if I'm remembering correctly. One fact that is not disputed is that Shannon Walker did not know. One fact that is not disputed is that the defendant and Shannon Walker did not know each other prior to defendant contacting her on September 12, 2024, and leaving a voicemail message on her phone. Shannon Walker filed a verified petition in Superior Court seeking an injunction against harassment against defendant on October 10th, 2024. The court takes judicial notice of the filings in the injunction against harassment case. In that petition, Shannon Walker said defendant left a message that said he was asking her to help her spouse not be a crooked-ass prosecutor, among other things. Shannon Walker also said defendant sent an email to her husband, the city prosecutor, saying that he, the defendant would be coming to Shannon Walker's workplace to talk to her. He also said he would be contacting Shannon Walker's neighbors. Shannon Walker also said in her petition that the defendant posted a video on his YouTube channel on September 23rd, 2024 that contained her name, photo, email, and both her work and home phone numbers. What? There's a fucking lie. She says defendants, how did he get the home phone number? How do you get that? How do you get that phone number? I smell bullshit. Says the defendant stated in his video that if you bother me, I'm going to bother you. Shannon Walker also said in her petition that in the video posted October 2nd, 2024, defendant said that Shannon Walker went after his wife's job. Defendant included Shannon Walker's name, place of employment, and telephone number. Does she work for the public? Is it listed publicly? Did she sign a loyalty oath for the University of Arizona? It says that all of the university employees have to. That's odd. But I guess she's special because she's Matt's wife. And since she's Matt's wife, there's no accountability. She doesn't have to actually, the oath doesn't actually have to mean anything. It was just part of the HR package. She just had to sign it and move along to the next checked box. That's all it was. Shannon Walker also said in her petition that in a video posted on October 8th, 2024, defendant again displayed her photo, workplace, phone number, email, office number, and encouraged his 8,000 plus YouTube subscribers to contact her. I wonder if all of those things are publicly available, public information. According to Shannon Walker, defendant also stated in the video that he would come visit her at her place of employment, the University of Arizona, public, and that others could do so. Well, they can. She also said defendant again repeated the claim that Shannon Walker had caused defendant's wife to be fired from her job. After the defendant posted the video, Shannon Walker says she received 4 telephone calls and 2 voicemails from individuals who said they did so at defendant's urging. Shannon Walker said that the voicemails contained offensive names as to Shannon Walker and were generally threatening, but not specifically threatening. Generally threatening. Generally threatening, but not specifically threatening, because if specifically threatening, then it'd be a crime, right, Shannon? Lying, dirty cunt. Shannon Walker also said in her petition that defendant came to her place of employment on October 9th. Public place of employment. It was open to the public during business hours. He wasn't told he was in a place that he shouldn't have been. She says he again stated that she had his wife fired. She says he live streamed the event and approached several of her colleagues asking where he could find her. I think he asked where he could find her office, not her. But she lies with such ease that it's hard to identify what's a lie and what's the truth. You know what I mean? She also says in a video that defendant threatened to return to her office the next day. Is that a threat? Did he threaten to do that? That was a threat? Or did he say, I can come back tomorrow because it's public? Superior Court held an ex parte hearing on Shannon Walker's petition on October 10th. Well, why not mention the 9th? Why not mention the 9th, Shannon? Is it because of all the lies? Let's start with the first lie.
You solemnly swear to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool story, Shannon. That's a real cool story. You did that on the 10th, not the 9th. Okay. If you say so. The Superior Court held an ex parte hearing on Shannon Walker's petition on October 10th, 2024. Shannon Walker testified at that hearing. Lies. She lied at that hearing. Chat, how many times did she lie during that hearing to get the injunction? I like how they referenced the hearing on the 10th. She didn't even allege any facts. She didn't even go on the record and say, she didn't go on the record and say specifically what was done, did she? She just said, hey, can you put the facts from this other injunction that I voluntarily dismissed? Oh, I mean, that's sealed because of a mistaken process? These fucking judges and their corruption and their collusion and this bullshit. That's right, 33 times. 33 times. Oh, and you know what else? You know what else? We've got a police report, and in the police report, there's the allegation that Lane is Shannon Walker's ex, but that's a typo. A typo. You can actually, it's not just putting the wrong letter in the word. You can typo full sentences and write whatever the fuck you want. Motherfuckers. The court ordered the defendant not contact Shannon Walker and that he have no contact with plaintiff Shannon Walker through any form of social media. The court further ordered the defendant is prohibited from posting any messages or content regarding the plaintiff Shannon Walker on any social media. That sounds overly broad and vague. But what the hell do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube that thought we had freedom in America. I guess not, though. I guess since I don't have a law degree, I can't fucking read, too. Defendant was served with the October 10th, 2024 injunction on October 17th. According to the process server's certificate of service, defendant threatened him with physical violence. Defendant requested a hearing to contest the injunction against harassment. The Superior Court held an evidentiary hearing on November 14th. The defendant and Shannon Walker both testified. In upholding the injunction, the court found that defendant caused third parties to communicate with the plaintiff, Shannon Walker, by explicitly encouraging contact. The defendant had no legitimate purpose for any contact. What? So it wasn't legitimate, huh? First Amendment's dead, everyone. And we've got people, we'll call it this community, right? We've got people in this community that are celebrating it so short-sightedly stupid that they don't realize what they're celebrating. Fucking morons. The defendant had no legitimate purpose for any contact, and that his purpose is to harass, and his conduct during this hearing confirms that. The court noted the defendant used insulting language towards the court and threw exhibits at court staff. Did that happen? Did he throw exhibits at the court staff? Okay. More lies. Everyone lies. It's okay. Court can lie. Judges can lie. The prosecutors can lie. Everybody can get away with the lies. Shannon can lie. But it's okay. We'll just throw this guy in prison for the rest of his life for speech. Because we got embarrassed because somebody caught us. It's not that somebody accused us of something that we weren't doing. It's that somebody caught us, called us on our shit. And now that we've been called on our shit, what do? Well, what's the answer? Let's lock him up. Let's put him in prison for the rest of his life. The rest of his life for a voicemail. Okay. Cool story. That sounds great. The court ordered the defendant to have no contact with Shannon Walker, direct or indirect, through any form of social media that he not... Did I already read all this? No. That he not post or place plaintiff Shannon Walker's contact information, including her work information, on any social media platform. That he not through social media or otherwise, directly or indirectly, encourage third parties to contact Shannon Walker or go to a protected location, which the court defined as Shannon Walker's residence and place of employment. The state sought to indict the defendant on March 7th, 2025 by direct indictment. The detective with the Tucson Police Department testified before a grand jury to establish probable cause. The defendant testified that the defendant began contacting Shannon Walker because of her husband's employment as a City of Tucson prosecutor. The detective also said defendant believes Shannon Walker was to blame for his wife being fired from her job. Even though Shannon Walker said she does not know the defendant's wife, does not know where she works, and has not had any relation with her getting fired. The detective also testified that his investigation confirmed Shannon Walker's allegation. The detective's investigation also discovered that the defendant contacted Shannon Walker on October 15th by leaving a message on her voicemail. Again with this word, threatening that he can come to her place of employment and that there is nothing she can do about it. The detective also testified the defendant called Shannon Walker again on October 16th and left another message on voicemail. He doesn't want to note that in that voicemail he said, "Nobody wants to hurt you, Shannon." These fucks. The detective also testified that the day after being served with the injunction, defendant posted personal information. Personal information. Did he now? Okay. About Shannon Walker on his YouTube channel. That's a fucking lie. The detective also said on October 21st, 2024, defendant posted information about Shannon Walker on his YouTube channel that included her name and workplace address. Public information. The detective also testified that after the injunction was held on November 14th, 2024 hearing, defendant again posted information about Shannon Walker's place of employment on January 24th and 27th and February 22nd. The grand jury returned a true bill. The defendant was arraigned and indicted on March 14th, 2025. Defendant argues that his communications with Shannon Walker and his postings of personal information, not personal information, public information. Public fucking information. How public? How public is it? Let's find where this is fucking Firefox. We got the Googler going. We're gonna Google it. Personal information is what we're saying. Personal information. Google. Personal information. Very first one. Personal information. Okay. Cool story. Personal information. You fucking cunts. Lies. So let's throw this man in jail. That's what we should do. Let's put him in jail. Because he didn't post her personal information. He posted her public information. There's a fucking difference. Right? There's a fucking difference. Defendant argues that his communications with Shannon Walker and his postings of public information about her on his YouTube channel cannot subject him to prosecution under Arizona harassment statutes because it is protected speech under the First Amendment of the Constitution, Article 2, Section 6 of the Arizona Constitution. Thus, according to the defendant, to the extent the state is prosecuting him in violation of his rights to free speech, it is unlawfully targeting him for the speech in violation of Arizona's Anti-SLAPP Statute, ARS 12-751. However, it is well settled that Arizona's harassment statutes regulate neither constitutionally protected speech nor expressive conduct, and thus do not implicate the First Amendment. You like how they do that? We'll just form the crime around whatever we need to convict you. Oh, and you can't use the First Amendment because the statute doesn't regulate constitutionally protected speech nor expressive conduct, and thus does not implicate the First Amendment. State v. Brown, 2024. This is because resorting to epithets or personal abuse is not in any proper sense communication of information or opinion safeguarded by the Constitution. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. What epithet or personal abuse is being alleged? What epithet or personal abuse did Lane commit? Did Lane commit? I don't know how this judge sleeps at night. These people are fucking monsters. Moreover, prohibiting harassment is not prohibiting speech because harassment is not communication, although it may take the form of speech. So his harassment isn't speech, even though it's speech. All right. That's a cool story. But he didn't make any specific threats, right? Defendant cites the case of LaFaro versus Keshel, 2002, for the proposition that statements to third parties about an individual, even if offensive or defamatory, do not constitute harassment under Arizona law. In that case, the Court of Appeals overturned an injunction against harassment, finding that the plaintiff failed to prove the defendant engaged in more than one act of harassment under ARS 12-1809R, which has since renumbered as 12-1809T1A. That is not an issue in this criminal case, as a series of acts in conformance with the criminal harassment statutes have been alleged. At the same time, the Court of Appeals found that the protection of citizens from harassment, a legitimate and laudable goal, is not incompatible with the protection and exercise of free speech. What do you guys think of this? Counts 7 through 13 of the indictment charge defendant with Class 1 misdemeanor harassment under ARS 13-2921A. Some of the charges concern voicemails defendant is alleged to have left on Shannon Walker's phone, while others concerning the defendant posting Shannon Walker's contact information on YouTube. The grand jury has found probable cause to all these charges. The voicemails, of course, were directed at Shannon Walker. As to the YouTube videos, a reasonable inference could be drawn that the defendant published Shannon Walker's personal contact information for the purpose of inciting others to contact her. She's above public redress, guys. She can lie. She's allowed to lie. She can lie 33 times and she can get the injunction. And if you reach out to her, it's a problem. Because she doesn't have to be accountable to anybody. As to the YouTube videos, a reasonable inference could be drawn that defendant published Shannon Walker's personal contact information. It wasn't her personal contact information, was it? It was her public contact information, I feel. Yeah, for the purpose of inciting others to contact her. And yeah, I think that people should reach out to her in her professional capacity and talk about how committing perjury is a problem. The people have a problem with it. And there's going to be videos for all of eternity, Shannon, because it's obvious that you perjured yourself. And if you think that we're going to let it go because Lane's in jail, no, we're going to scream it from the rooftops. We're going to make sure that everybody on earth knows that Shannon Walker is a fucking liar. That her husband, Matt Walker, is a disgusting troglodyte liar as well. He posted Shannon Walker's personal contact information for the purposes of encouraging others. He's in his mind right now. Purpose of encouraging others to contact her. He also posted a video showing him at Shannon Walker's place of employment, which could reasonably interpret as encouraging others to come there as well. Well, is the University of Arizona Law School Library public? Is that public? Can people go there? Your Honor? Can they do that, Your Honor? Douglas Metcalf. Traitor to the Constitution. None of these people care, though. They couldn't care less. By his own admission, the defendant contacted Shannon Walker, a person he did not know, and posted her, again, personal. No, that's a lie. He didn't post her personal contact information. He posted her publicly available public contact information from the University of Arizona Law School, a public institution serving the public. Okay. Cool. Because she's married to City of Tucson prosecutor who is involved with litigation and defendant. Certainly a reasonable inference can be drawn from this that he was intending to harass her to get back at her husband. Really? That's interesting. We'll just make that allegation because he thinks it's a reasonable inference. You can just lie on people. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Everybody can lie on everybody. There's no consequences. Counts 1 through 6 charge aggravated harassment under ARS 12-2921-01A1. The grand jury found probable cause as to all 6 counts. Count 1 is charged as a Class 6 felony, while counts 2 through 6 are charged as Class 5 felonies. The difference being that subsequent charges of violating injunction of harassment are Class 5 felonies, while the first charge is a Class 6 felony. The allegation as to all 6 charges is that the defendant harassed Shannon Walker in violation of the injunction against harassment issued in C-2024-6114. Never mind the one that matters, C-2024-5044. Nobody wants to say anything about that. Shannon Walker can lie 33 times in that hearing, but no, we won't even bring that one up. We'll just replace it with the 6114 where she makes absolutely no allegations on the record. The court will not look behind the court's issuance of the injunction against harassment or its affirmance after a contested hearing to relitigate whether it should have been issued. It was issued and upheld, and the defendant is charged with violating it. This does not raise any free speech issues. Yeah, right, bro. Count 14. Finally, count 14 charges stalking, a Class 5 felony in violation of ARS 132923A2. The grand jury also found probable cause as to this count. This count alleges that the conduct the defendant engaged in with respect to Shannon Walker put her family in reasonable fear of death. Again, this charge is directed at conduct, not speech. What conduct? Which conduct was it? The speech? The speech conduct? Defendant has not met his initial burden of showing the indictment was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right. Rather, the indictment is directed at his harassment of Shannon Walker, which is not constitutionally protected. These cunts. Defendant is not being prosecuted for his protected speech discussing proceedings before the Tucson City Council, the City Court, the Justice Court, the City Prosecutor's Office, the County Attorney's Office, or any other governmental organization. What about the University of Arizona? What about them? What about that public, what about that? He is talking about that though, right? Is he allowed to talk about that? I mean, the oath of office they sign, it makes it sound like they're public. As such, he is not entitled to relief under the Anti-SLAPP Statute, ARS 12-751. Based on the foregoing, it is ordered that the defendant's motion to dismiss pursuant to ARS 12-751 is denied. Hey Pants, I don't need your quick lesson. He left a voicemail that was not threatening at all. He didn't say anything he wanted, anywhere he wanted. You're a moron. Maybe you're not a moron, but you don't know what's going on here. What you're saying is reasonable. It doesn't apply to this. So, sorry. What do you guys think? Anybody have any thoughts on this? So Ellen, it's all good. She can lie, and nobody, when we see that she lies, what should we do? We should just take that one on the chin and just say, oh, well, it's Shannon. It's Shannon. She's lying again, but it's Shannon, so we'll let it go. She works for the public at the public's leisure. If I think that she needs to know that she sucks Well, then she's gonna know. Oh, that's it, Pants. You're just here against Lane? Okay, that's cool. I wondered. See, it was about the First Amendment, and then it was really about Lane. That's pretty revealing. Guess you'll have to find another account. Alright guys, I don't think I put it in there, but I think I saw Sassy put it in there a minute ago. He's in a spot, right? Now that he's his own lawyer. Now that he's his own lawyer and doesn't have any paper, can't do any filings, they really must think they have him right where they want him, huh? Fucking fed up. I didn't dox anybody. So, whoever's giving you those, who's ever given you those statements is lying to you. Unsurprisingly, lying to you. Bro, Lee. Yeah, I've been busy, bro. I'm sorry. It's not an intentional slight. I've just been busy. I just answered the question, you idiot. I didn't dox anybody. That's an answer. And if you don't like it, blow me. Tomorrow's still docketed. John, that's a good question. I imagine that he's salty. I don't know though. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. I don't know. Maybe he does. Okay, if that's cool. You can go ahead and believe that. I mean, I'm fine with that. But I saw it from him before anything, so it doesn't really matter because I know. And the rest is irrelevant to me. It's supposed to be a conditions of release, a conditions of release hearing. Yeah, if you say so. What does his wife want him to do? Illuminate the Dark. I don't know if it was you that sent me that email. earlier. Thank you for sending that email, the one with the picture. I did reach out to the court and put in a request to record that hearing, and then I was emailed back saying that it was the original date, but it was changed at the last hearing. So, the best of my knowledge is that hearing is not happening today, and that tomorrow is still going on. Thank you, Leo. Tom, the thing is, this affects more than just Lane, right? And I'm not talking about the being in jail portion. I'm talking about everything that's happened. I don't want to tell other people's story. It's certainly not my place. But I will read something. If I can get it up. Everybody that's emailed me, Janelle, thank you for putting money on his books. I really appreciate that. I don't imagine that today is going to be a real bright day for him. Hold on, I got a call.
Debit call from
Lane's in jail.
an inmate at the Pima County Detention. This call is subject to being recorded or monitored, except for communication between attorney and client. If you are an attorney or designated counsel, hang up and call the Pima County Jail at 520-351-8027. Three-way calls or call waiting is not allowed, and may automatically disconnect this call. Did you know the person calling you now has voicemail? You can leave a message for this party by calling 520-448-3426. You will need to know the inmate's 9-digit phone ID. Thank you for using GTL.
You're on.
Motion needs help. Motion needs help. Some information on a government website is considered personal. Information on a government website is now considered personal information. And it's gonna get ugly in court tomorrow, I already know. And then this is the judge that's gonna sentence me to prison after I roast him tomorrow. He's really gonna take kindly after I roast him tomorrow for the, it's like, all right, so I'm gonna go in there and roast the judge tomorrow about being a fucking idiot, fucking tyrant, to the point they're gonna drag me out of there with probably like shove something down my throat and taser me and beat me senseless in shackles. Because if this judge thinks that information on a government website is personal information, he's got a big fucking surprise coming tomorrow. That's all I know. He's going to be talked to in a way he's never been talked to in his entire life. Because he's obviously fucking incompetent and an idiot. Judge for the state of Arizona. And call information on a government website personal information. Well, Dick Tracy, when you go to the security page on the Superior Court, it lists Richard Tracy and his phone number. Is that personal information? Is everybody going to be charged with a crime for contacting Dick Tracy at his personal information on a public government website? So, y'all motherfuckers know what time it is. Everybody wants to stab me in the back. I'm releasing everything. There's no... If a fucking judge for the state of Arizona doesn't know the difference between personal information and information on a government website, then fuck all you motherfuckers, and I'm putting everything out there. Let the chips fall where they may. Y'all motherfuckers ain't did shit to me but stab me in the fucking back, one after another. And they know who I'm talking about right now. Because if I'm sitting in jail and a judge is calling information on a government website personal information, then this is something this is either coming down from the White House or the White House need to get involved. How the fuck is information on a government website personal information? Go to the Superior Court website. Can you show the screen right now?
Yeah.
Go to the Superior Court website.
All right.
Judge's information.
All right.
Show Judge Metcalf's phone number. Scroll down, show Judge Metcalf, and highlight it.
There it is, folks.
Hey, everybody, call Judge Metcalf on his personal phone number, please, and let him know he's a fucking idiot who doesn't know the difference between information on a government website and personal information. Tell him you got his personal phone number off a government website. Go ahead and call there all fucking day. From now until the time I'm spending the rest of my life in prison, call Judge Metcalf and say that you want to talk to him on his personal phone number that's listed on a government website. Roast him. And then you tell Dick Tracy, I fucking dare him to try to get somebody in trouble. And then now show Dick Tracy shit. Go to security. Court operations or administration or whatever the fuck they call it. You see that shit where it says Richard Tracy and Mary Jane Abril?
No, I'm looking for it.
On the right-hand side? Go to, court administration. Or go to, the administrative policies or something like that. Just type Richard Tracy Pima Superior in Google. It says security and all that shit. Where administrative orders that they put on me and shit.
Richard Tracy, Director of Court Security. Mary Jane Abril, Security Manager. 520-724-8371. Yeah, I see it.
So you see their information on the Superior Court website, right?
Yeah, this is their private cellular information, right? This is their personal.
Personal information on a government website, right? Because they post personal information on the Superior Court website, right? That's up. You probably want to get rid of that one. It's nasty. The other guy had food on it. Yeah. I'm Lane. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I just got a new bunkie.
Sweet.
Probably get a lot of those for the next 100 years. No, but how can it be personal information on a government website? That's the judge's main point, right? Because it doesn't even care what it says, because as long as if it says denied, it says denied. But so the judge's point was that information on a government website is personal information. And how the fuck is this guy a judge?
It's scary that he is.
It's time to embarrass these fools. It's fucking scary that there's a fucking judge in the United States of America who thinks information posted on a government website where the person who posted the information swore an oath to uphold your rights, has an oath listed on the Secretary of State website as a government employee. How can a government employee, contact information, a government employee, a government contact information on a government website be considered personal information? And that's the shit they keep trying to say, is that just because the police report or something says posted or personal information, but they're not going to be able to get that off at trial. You get what I'm saying here? They're winning these little things right now, but make no mistake about it, the jury will be very well informed that information on a government website is not personal information. How can it be personal information if it's posted on a government website? Why would the government post somebody's personal information on a government website?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I went to Google, I clicked on the website, and then it gave me all this information. This personal information.
Government website.
Yeah, on the government website. It's a .gov.
So information posted on a .gov website is personal information? Well, let's see how many charges I can get for passing out personal information today, all right? That's the goal today. See how many more charges I can get today on this live stream right now. So pass out, go to the FBI Tucson. Pass out that personal information. And then when you get done with that, let's go to the United States District Court for the District of Arizona. Let's go to the federal court in Tucson. Let's pass out Judge Angie Martinez's personal information. Let's pass out Elliot's personal information. Let's pass out fucking Dick Tracy's personal information. Let's pass out Homeland Security's personal information. Let's pass out the Arizona Attorney General's personal information. Let's pass out employees at the University of Arizona's personal information. So now government. So now information listed on a government website is considered personal information. And I got to go to prison because information. So I guess I'll be the first person ever convicted of posting information on a government website. See what I'm saying here? Information on a government website. Showing information on a government website is a crime. That's what I'm saying, people. We need the big dog lawyers. I need to be on Fox. Within the next 5 days, I need to be on Fox News, and I need to have a big-ass criminal defense lawyer appealing the SLAPP motion. This SLAPP motion needs to be appealed because obviously the judge, it was legal error because information on a government website is not personal. Unless I'm confused. Is there anybody that thinks that?
I mean, I'm sure there's people that believe that.
Come on, tell somebody in the chat. Tell the YouTube scholars, YouTube legal scholars, what is the case law that makes government? Thank you, sir. What is the government? What is the case law that says that information on a government website is personal information? We need that case law. Tell the YouTube lawyers. Because otherwise, I'm going to take a plea bargain and I'm going to testify against Direct D and a couple of the local auditors around here, and I'm going to get let out with a misdemeanor, and they're all going to get felonies. And that's what they get for fucking with me while I'm in prison. I go to jail, they start fucking with my wife. Well, they just caught 7 harassment charges, and I'm going to testify against them, and they're going to let me out with a misdemeanor and time served. So, great move, Direct D and Roy and Tucson Suck and all them motherfuckers. I'm going to put your asses in jail now, motherfuckers. Call me a snitch, call me whatever the fuck. If posting somebody's government information on a government website is a crime, well then I'm about to testify against Tucson Police Suck, Pigs Under Pressure, Toe Tag, Direct D, Mitch. I'm going to testify against all of them. I feel harassed. Because think about it. I was just ignoring that shit with Direct D. That motherfucker put so that he wants me to die and pass into the shadow realm. I was just going to ignore it. Well, now I'm going to testify. Now I'm willing to go to court and testify so that he gets in trouble. He committed a crime. If me posting information on a government website is harassment, then what Direct D did is beyond harassment. See what I'm saying here? He fucking literally told me that he wants me to die in a car accident, and I just ignored it. But I already made a police report this morning. Now my goal is to make sure that Tucson Police Suck, Pigs Under Pressure, Toe Tag, Direct. That's my goal. And I know things, and I'm going to make sure of it, because those motherfuckers, the moment I went in here, they fucking started harassing my wife and shit. Somebody came to my house. We all know who did it. It's all on video. That's what I'm saying. These people are talking about, I staged my own shit. You guys are fucking morons. And then somebody had the nerve to come to my house. Well, I'll be visiting all your houses while you're in prison. I'll make sure your wives are well taken care of while y'all are in prison. While I'm out free. So, we can play this game. Y'all wanted to fucking, y'all think it's a game? Alright, cool. Well, I guess if posting government information is a crime, well, y'all motherfuckers are criminals, and I'm going to testify against you that I felt harassed in fear for my life and all that shit, and y'all are going to get felonies because I feel scared now. You went to my house while I was in jail to harass my wife? Yeah. We're going to come to court and testify and put you in prison. It's only fair, right? I mean, it's only fair if posting government information is a crime and I got to get in trouble, well then people who posted my personal information, posted my wife's information, made death threats against me on fucking social media, well, them people are definitely going to go to jail. And I'm definitely going to come to court and testify against them. Because y'all took this shit. Alright. Or we can do it a different way, but I don't think they're capable of that. So, at this point, I need to have a lawyer who knows what they're doing appeal the SLAPP. The SLAPP got denied. Well, it needs to get appealed through a special action, which is a $300 motion. We can cover the $300. It's the what legal genius is going to write it for me since I'm in here? Because if the judge can look at that SLAPP motion and determine that I posted personal information, which is contained on a government website, then that judge obviously is fucking clueless. And you think I'm going to let that judge decide how many years I'm going to go to prison for posting government information? How that judge is going to put me in prison for posting on a government website? That's the world we live in now. If you show information on a government website, you get held in jail with no bond. If you go on a government website and you see information, contact information listed on a government website, you see that contact information listed on a government website, and you contact that person at the number listed on the government website, and you ask them questions related to their job as an employee of the government, and that becomes harassment, and you can be held in jail with no bond and remember, no bond and no crimes. Well, I might have got indicted last night. I don't know. I might be getting indicted as we speak. I mean, I'm hoping that the feds come get me. I'll go do Fed time. Shouldn't I be getting Fed time for all those calls to the marshals and the judges and shit? How can I post? So I'm allowed to post government. I'm allowed to post information about federal judges. I'm allowed to post government information. I'm allowed to show information on a government website for every other fucking branch of government except one specific. And I can even show, because don't I have videos about like the U of A cops and shit?
For sure.
Do I show their information on the government website?
Yeah, when we went through, for sure.
So you could go to the U of A website right now and go to the U of A police, and there's a list of their numbers and emails, right? And people were calling Detective Keating and doing all that shit, right? Or Kaufman or whatever the fuck the guy's name was. How did we call Valenzuela? We got his number off a government website, right? So if information, why is it listed on a government website? And where do we go from here? Because if I can be put in prison for showing information on a government website, well, then there's going to be a long list of people going to prison around here.
Yeah, I'm in deep trouble.
A long list. Huh?
I'm in deep trouble.
We all are. I think that's the biggest joke of this all, is that it's only called personal information if I post it. If everybody else shows it, it's just government. It's just information on a government website. Information on a government website is not personal information. And Dick Tracy, you can tell Metcalf that, or I'm telling you right now, Dick Tracy, because I know you're a fucking coward and I know you're fucking listening. From the time I walk in to the time you drag me out tomorrow, I'm just going to keep repeating. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. And I'm going to keep saying that until you tase me, spray me, drag me out, whatever you got to do. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Get it? Get used to hearing that, Dick Tracy, because you're going to be hearing it from the time I walk into the courtroom to the time you drag me out tomorrow. Information on a government website is not personal information. Make that our mantra. Information. Let's all say it. Chat. Because I know that's a few seconds behind. Let's all repeat after me, chat. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Contacting somebody on information listed on a government website is contacting them at their government information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Make sure you tell them, Dick Tracy. During my entire hearing is government information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Those are the only words I'm going to speak tomorrow at Superior Court. Information on a government website is not personal information. Repeat after me. Otherwise, I better get a couple more charges when I get there tomorrow for posting all that personal information on government websites. Because, I think these people have lost touch with reality. How can information on a .edu or a .gov website be considered personal information? It's literally government information. It's information on a government website. The fucking employee took a 38-7, whatever the code is, oath to, what does it say? Be kind to my rights or something?
In the oath?
Yeah.
Officers and employees required to take a loyalty oath.
It says, I so-and-so swear to what?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Then it says, I, Pima County, something, right? In the county, or was that at the beginning of what you said?
Well, this was I was reading the University of Arizona one, just because I had it handy.
I'm talking about on the government web, the ARS 38, whatever. The thing you texted me the other day that was blank, that had like, was missing the names, it was just like the form, and then you put F/by language at the bottom. It says something about So you're saying the University of Arizona even has that listed on their own website?
Yeah, I downloaded that yesterday. It's an actual copy of the oath that she signed. Now, it's not her copy yet. That's on request. But
No, I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. But that's the one that it's like, hey, here's a sample of something we all signed as the HR policy or whatever.
yeah, and it's basically a copy of
Did you get that on
ARS.
a government website?
I did. It was a .edu website, I believe.
So you got that information off a government website. The same government website that I got the information off. So repeat after me, Dick Tracy. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal information. Information on a government website is not personal. Make sure everybody emails that and calls Judge Metcalf and tells him today that, and every day for the rest of his entire time as a judge in the state of Arizona beyond whatever happens to me. Because obviously Metcalf doesn't understand that information on a government website is not personal information. So that's their so if the judge is, so I already know I'm winning at trial. I cannot wait to walk out a free man at trial. This is going to be, the jury's going to find me not guilty in 10 minutes, and I'm going to get to roast Matt Walker, this fucking cop. I'm going to get to put Dick Tracy on the stand. I'm going to get to put fucking the she-devil on the stand. I'm going to get to put a bunch of people on the cops at the U of A on the stand. And if I'm going to go to prison, then we're going to get some good content out of it, that's for sure. We're going to put these people on the stand and have them explain how government contact information. We're going to have She-Devil get on the stand and explain how she took an oath as an employee at the University of Arizona to respect and uphold the Constitution. Then she called the fucking cops when somebody called their fucking government website information. We're going to have this cop explain how he didn't know that information on a government website is public information. And I love how he lied during the little hearing. See, they get that up now, but at trial, it's my world and they're just going to be living in it. Because I'm going to embarrass the judge at trial. So the judge just said that, that information that I posted her personal information, well, now I'm going to bring in an expert witness who's going to make the judge look like an absolute fucking moron when they say that actually information on a government website is government information. It's not personal information. She didn't choose that phone number. The government did.
We literally pay for those services, bro.
We literally pay the government. Like I pay, my taxes go towards funding the University of Arizona, a government institution. How can I be suing her in the other case already? How am I suing her under Section 1983? But she's not a public employee. These motherfuckers are out of the goddamn. Metcalf just took it over the top. Okay, because I thought Superior Court was a place where of law and order, but now I got to make tomorrow's hearing full blown kangaroo. It's seems like there's no limit to the levels of kangarooism in this fucking in these courts, kangaroo courts. I didn't know that you could turn a state of Arizona court. How can a state of Arizona judge not know that information on a government website is not personal information?
I thought he even acknowledged that it was the other day in the hearing.
Yeah, he's a clown. They better give me a new judge. That's all I know. Or a new, because it's gonna get ugly tomorrow. Because we're not gonna have court tomorrow, Dick Tracy. We're gonna have me repeating information. It's not personal information. So whatever you think's gonna happen tomorrow isn't. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna keep repeating information on a government website is not personal information until you drag me out of there, and then you guys can do whatever you gotta do when I'm not there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. The whole world can see that Judge Metcalf is a fucking tyrant who should be removed from office immediately, and that's why I believe. I mean, think about it. And I was even taking it easy. This is the same judge who is denying 122H, which can't be denied.
Yeah, it's notice, right?
It's not a request. It's a notice. And people need to stand on that shit. Okay, the judge cannot deny 122H. And I was nice about it last time because I didn't want to start off wrong with the judge, but I should have caused the fucking scene from day one. He tells me, you think they can tell me how to run my court? Yeah, bitch, they can. It's called the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court told you how to run your court, and your administrative order they put on me even says that the court must follow 122H. So the Supreme Court said 122H, and then the chief judge the presiding judge in their administrative order said that we follow 122 to the letter of the law, and then we have these little additional things for in the hallways and shit. Well, if the Supreme Court said I can record, and the chief judge said, and the presiding judge said we can, we follow the letter of the law on 122, then how the fuck can Douglas Metcalf deny 122H? He can't. And I was nice about it. Fuck all that shit. Every motherfucker on this planet needs to show up tomorrow and do 122H, and if they try to deny you, my wife will help you file the lawsuit. Because we'll put Dick Tracy under oath. We'll put Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy, there's no going back now, motherfucker. There's no going back. There's no going back, Dick Tracy. There's no going back. There's no going back. I'm sitting in jail with no bond. There's no going back. The judge just said that the government information is personal information. There's no going back. All the tapes are coming out. Everything. Fuck them all. Backstabbers, doesn't matter. And what are they going to say? Personal information? No, I got it off the government website. How can you deny? This judge should already be removed from my case. So right now I already have a grounds for appeal, and it's only been a week. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to win an appeal and get a new case on trial because the judge is denying 122H. He's in violation of Supreme Court rules. He's in violation of Administrative Order 2024-47, which says that, issued by Chief Judge Biscobing, which says that we follow 122. Nowhere in 122 does it say that a judge can, upon his discretion, same reason we had all those problems in all the other hearings is because they can't stop me, and I'm not going to let them stop me. But what happened is I tried to be, I didn't want to ruffle the judge's feathers. Now, not only am I going to ruffle his feathers, we're going to fucking pluck them all out, and then we're going to tar him all over the internet. Judge Doug Metcalf needs to be trending as we speak. Did you start me a new Twitter yet?
No, I'll do that. I'll learn how to use Twitter.
Did you start that Wikipedia?
No, that has been a problem, bro. I'll keep that going.
Page?
You hear that, chat?
Huh? Lane Meyer's political prisoner needs a Wikipedia. I need a Twitter, too. We need to get this shit out there. The Judge Doug Metcalf needs to be known around the world as a fucking absolute fucking moron who's going to get absolutely fucking roasted and embarrassed in court tomorrow because he thinks that government information or information on a government website is personal information. Then he has the nerve to say that she feared for her life. Well, I fear for my life too. Direct D. And that's the thing. Laura Conover is allowing my wife to have her house attacked, people show up and harass her and all that. Where's Rachel Stiles protecting the community at there? Why isn't Rachel helping my wife feel safe at home? Does she only care about government employees who are married to the prosecutor? What about private citizens who want to live in their own? Why are my neighbors being harassed by crazy analysts talk about government employees? So truly, it doesn't matter what the bottom line is. If anybody wants to help Lane Myers needs a defense attorney to file an appeal, a special action of the denial of the SLAPP, because there's no way you can deny that SLAPP and say that that's personal information when it's listed on a goddamn government website, okay? You can't call information on a government website personal information. And if you do, you deserve everything that comes to you for the rest of your life. In your official capacity as a judge, you don't have the fucking common sense to figure out the difference between government information and personal information? Well, then send me to the gulag. Who wants to live in that world anyways? Like, why would it matter if I'm in prison or out on the street when there's a judge that doesn't even know the difference between information on a government website and personal information? And what's the most ironic thing is I literally pass out my own phone number on my YouTube channel. I've never charged somebody with harassment until now. Until Direct D. I didn't care. I don't care what people say about me on the internet. I just think it's funny. I troll them back. But now, if it's easy enough, if it's this easy to get people put in prison, I got a list of people I want to see in prison. Because somebody who wouldn't even do 5 days in jail to fight for the First Amendment and they're not harassing my wife, I need him in here with me so we can handle it in here. Because if that motherfucker's out there free and harassing my wife and attacking my house and shit, and I'm sitting in jail for posting information on a government website, the world, then we are actually living in Armageddon it is actually Armageddon as we speak. It's not some future thing. It's happening as we speak. If a fucking judge doesn't even know the difference between information on a government website and personal information, who do we go to uphold our rights in the law? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? That's the question. Where do we go from here? Where do we go to find somebody that fucking knows the law? So we got to file a special action to get it to the Division II Court of Appeals and fucking win my SLAPP motion because the judge made numerous legal errors. There's no planet, even Earth, even in Russia, even in Siberia, even in North Korea. Even in North Korea, information on the government website is not personal information. It's on the government website. How can you go to a government website and get personal information? I know. Ready for tomorrow to I feel like I'm going to turn into one of those people who has an episode and then that's all they do for the rest of their life is repeat the same thing over and over. Government information is not personal information. You know what I mean?
I do.
I got to turn into like Forrest Gump or something. Information on a government website is not personal information. Just keep repeating it. Or the FBI can come talk to me and we can do this. Somebody needs it. The whole world is watching what's happening to me and nobody's doing shit about it. So they're either with me or against me, and it seems like, hey, we can take showers? Homie. Thank God. Are we going to do like a list or something? Like make an order or something? We haven't been able to shower in a few days, but I got to call back, right? Like, we can only talk for so long, and then I got to shut the tablet off and then call you back. I'm going to shower, okay?
Do it.
Stay live though, and keep fucking take all that information and just people need to call Judge Metcalf from the time the court opens at 8 to the time they close at 5, letting the judge know that information on it, that they got his info. They need to call there and say, "Hi, I got this information on a government website, and I wanted to call and tell you that information on a government website is not personal information." All right.
We'll hammer it.
They can charge me. I don't care. Give me more charges. Give me more charges for telling people to let a government official know that information on a government website is government information. It's not personal information. And all you motherfuckers just watching need to understand that. You can't just... The judge doesn't get to make up his own version of the law. But I gotta go. I gotta take a shower while we can. We only get so much time to shower.
All right, later.
Bye.
Thank you for using GTL.
All right, I need a second. Hold on. Sorry about that. So, yeah. I don't think anybody banned Ellen. She probably just got super busy. So I guess that's the question. Is information on a government website personal information? I feel like that was a pretty good point, you know? That information on a government website is not personal information. But, you know, really, what do I know? What do I know? I've got a list of people that that I need to call, and then I think Lane gave us some homework. I know that he wants me to stay live, but I can't stay live because I've got to do these things. So here's the deal. You know what? The Mad Smoker. I can see it. I can see it for sure. Oh, that's funny. But information on a government website is not personal information. So, you know, it's just not. So that's what the judge did, because he thinks that information on a government website is personal information. That's crazy. I don't think anybody can unblock anybody. I think I'm the only one that can unblock people. That's why I don't think anybody else is doing any blocking. I think I'm the one that does the blocking, and everybody else uses timeout. So if anybody has any Twitter expertise, send me an email. I think I have some emails out. I might actually have emails back to me about the Wikipedia, but maybe Gina knows. I don't know. Maybe Gina knows if the Honorable Douglas Metcalf knows if information on a government website is not personal information. It's public information. But I appreciate everybody coming in. Please do what you can to get this out. Jesus, it only takes one person, right? The one right person. So, yeah, it matters. So, you guys should stand up, and those that aren't, do. I'd appreciate you.